Welcome to Daily English Grow.
Hey everyone! Welcome back to Daily English Grow, your cozy place to learn easy English and improve your life at the same time. I'm Maya, and I'm so happy you're here with me again. Today, we're going to talk about something really important, something that can change the way you see your life. Have you ever looked at someone and thought, wow, their life completely changed? How did they do it? Maybe they used to struggle with money, confidence, English, or motivation, and suddenly they seem to have a completely different life. They have a new job, new energy, new confidence, and you start wondering, what did they do? What am I missing? I've had moments like that too. Sometimes we look at other people and imagine that their lives changed because of one huge decision or one dramatic moment. But when you look more closely, you often discover something much simpler. Most of the time, your life doesn't change because of one dramatic movie moment. It changes because of many small choices you make every day. And that's exactly what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about how to change your life one small step at a time, using simple English and real examples that you can understand and use in your own life. Before we go deeper into today's topic, I want to ask you for one tiny favor. If you enjoy learning with Daily English Grow, please like this episode and subscribe to the channel. It really helps more English learners discover these lessons, and I'd love to hear from you in the comments. You can write one simple sentence like, I'm from, and then your country, followed by, one small thing I want to change in my life is. This is a great way to practice English because when you write, your brain has to choose words and build sentences. That's real English practice, not just listening. So let's jump into today's topic. What does it really mean to change your life? And by the way, today's episode is a B1 level episode, so it's perfect for intermediate English learners. The English is clear and simple, but the ideas are still interesting and meaningful. If you're a strong beginner, don't worry. You're welcome here too. You can listen slowly and use this episode to help yourself move from beginner English toward intermediate English. And because I love vocabulary, I'll also explain some important words and phrases naturally during the lesson. At the end, we'll have a calm little word tour where I'll explain the most important vocabulary again with simple examples. So stay with me until the end. Now, let's start with a simple question. If people really want to change their lives, why does it feel so difficult? Change sounds beautiful, right? A new start, a new chapter, a new life. But real life is different. Many people want to change, but they feel stuck. Stuck is an important word. It means that you can't move forward, even though you want to. Imagine your shoe is stuck in the mud. You try to pull it out, but it doesn't move. You want to move, but something is holding you, and sometimes life feels exactly like that. You want to move forward, but something seems to be keeping you in the same place. So, what is holding us back? What makes us feel stuck? Let's look at a few big reasons. The first big reason is fear of failure. Maybe you feel this too. Fear of failure means being afraid that something won't work the way you want. Many people think, if I try and fail, people will laugh at me. I'll disappoint myself. I'll prove that I'm not good enough. But we almost never ask the other question. What if I try and succeed? What could happen then? Every person you see who has made a big change in their life has a secret history of small failures. They didn't become successful because they never failed. They simply decided that failure was part of the road, not the end of the road. So remember that. Failure is part of the road, not the end of the road. The second reason people feel stuck is having no clear direction. Direction means knowing where you're going. Think about using a map on your phone. You need to know where you are and where you want to go. Many people say, I want a better life, or I want to improve my English. But these sentences are very big and a little blurry. Blurry means not clear, like a photo that is out of focus. You can see something, but you can't see it clearly. So sometimes your dream is blurry, and your plan is also blurry. And when everything feels blurry, people wait. They wait for a big, perfect master plan. While they wait, nothing really changes. It's like sitting in a waiting room. You're not moving, but time is. The third reason is something that happens inside your own head. It's negative self-talk. Self-talk means how you talk to yourself in your mind, that little voice inside your head. You might say things like, "I'm not smart enough. I'm not an English person. People like me never change. I'm too old. I'm too shy. I'll never be good at this." These sentences can become like poison in your brain. If you hear that negative voice every day, of course you're going to feel small, scared, and tired before you even start. And then there's another very common trap: waiting for motivation. People often say, "I'll start when I feel ready," or "I'll practice English when I feel motivated." But in real life, motivation usually comes after you start, not before. You take one small action, and then your brain gives you a little motivation as a reward. It's like moving your legs first and then feeling the energy come. I remember this with exercise. Maybe you've experienced something similar. You wait for the perfect day to start exercising again. You think, "I'll start next Monday, I'll start next month, I'll start when the weather is nice." But the perfect day never comes. A better idea is to make a small deal with yourself. Tell yourself, just 5 minutes, nothing more. Go outside, walk a little, or exercise for 5 minutes. Afterward, you may feel a little proud of yourself. And that small feeling of pride can give you the energy to do it again tomorrow. I experienced something similar with English speaking. For a long time, I thought my accent was bad and that I would sound stupid. I waited to feel confident before speaking, but of course, that feeling never came. The confidence didn't arrive first. I had to speak first. I had to accept that I might make mistakes. I finally told myself, "Okay, maybe I'll sound silly, but I'm going to speak anyway." I made mistakes, but every conversation made me a little braver. So if we put everything together, we have 4 big reasons people feel stuck: fear of failure, no clear direction, negative self-talk, and waiting for motivation. These are like invisible ropes around your body. Invisible means you can't see them, but they can still hold you and make it difficult to move. And the first step toward changing your life is noticing those ropes. You can't cut something you never see. When you start to recognize what's holding you back, you can slowly begin to loosen those ropes. And that's when change becomes possible. So, we know why change is difficult. Now, the big question is, how do we actually start changing? This is where small steps become powerful. Many people imagine change like a huge explosion. Boom! New life. But real change is usually much quieter. It's more like growing a plant. You don't shout at a plant and say, "Grow now." You give it water every day, a little sunlight, and time. Those daily drops of water are like your small actions. They look tiny, but they add up. Add up is a useful phrasal verb. It means that many small things together become something bigger over time. For example, 5 minutes of English today doesn't look like much. But 5 minutes every day for 1 year becomes many hours of practice. That's why small actions are so powerful. There is an idea that I really like, and that is becoming just a little bit better every day. Maybe 1% better. You don't need to transform your entire life tomorrow. You just need to make one small improvement today, and habits are the engine behind that. A habit is something you do again and again, often almost automatically. Brushing your teeth is a habit. Checking your phone in the morning can be a habit. Drinking water after you wake up can be a habit. And listening to an English podcast while you cook or clean can become a habit too. There is a famous book called Atomic Habits by James Clear. One of the ideas in the book is that your habits slowly shape your identity. Identity means who you believe you are. For example, if you read in English every night, even for 10 minutes, after some time you may start to think, "I'm the kind of person who reads in English." That idea about yourself can make it easier to continue. So, what small habits can you try? Maybe read 1 page of an English book every night. Maybe write 2 sentences about your day in English. Maybe listen to an English podcast while you're cooking or cleaning. Or you could create one tiny mindset habit. Every time you catch yourself saying, "I'm bad at English," stop and change the sentence to, "I'm learning English." That's a small but powerful switch. The key idea here is simple. Tiny actions done again and again can secretly build a huge change in your life. You don't need a huge dramatic plan. You need one small action that you repeat. And we've already used the word mindset, so let's spend a little time there. Mindset is the way you think about your abilities and your future. It's like the style of the voice inside your head. Is that voice kind and hopeful, or is it painful and negative? There's a well-known idea called a growth mindset and a fixed mindset. With a growth mindset, you think, I can improve, I can learn, I'm not perfect, but I can get better. With a fixed mindset, you think, this is just who I am. I'm bad at languages, I can't change. And you can probably guess which mindset helps you more. Your brain also has something like a filter system. The long name is the Reticular Activating System, or RAS. Don't worry about remembering the name. Just understand the basic idea. This system helps your brain decide what information is important for you. It's like having a friend who points at something and says, look at this. When you learn a new vocabulary word, suddenly you may start seeing it everywhere. You see it in a movie, in a book, in a video title, or in a conversation. The word was already there, but now your brain recognizes it and says, oh, I know this. So, if your inner voice is always saying, I can't, I can't, I can't, your brain may start looking for proof that you're right. But if your inner voice says, I'm learning, I'm improving, I'm getting better, your brain can start noticing small signs of progress. That's why people sometimes say you can reprogram your mind, like installing a new app in your brain. I love that picture. And there are 3 small tools you can use to help train your mind: affirmations, visualization, and gratitude. Let's keep the English simple. An affirmation is a positive sentence you say to yourself on purpose. For example, I am getting better at English every week. Visualization is when you close your eyes and imagine yourself doing something well. For example, you imagine yourself speaking calmly in a job interview or having a confident conversation in English. And gratitude is feeling thankful. You look at your day and say, okay, today was difficult, but I'm thankful for this one good moment. When you practice these things, you're training your brain to notice possibilities and progress, not only problems. The goal is simple. Make your inner voice a coach, not a critic. And then there is another big enemy of change: perfection. Perfection means trying to make something completely perfect, with no mistakes or problems. Many people secretly wait for the perfect moment to start. They say, when my English is better, I'll speak. When I have more time, I'll study. When I feel confident, I'll apply for that job. But here's the funny thing. You often get confidence after you start, not before. It's like standing at the edge of a swimming pool and saying, when I feel comfortable, I'll jump in. But the comfort often comes after the jump. When I started recording myself speaking English, I felt awkward. My voice sounded strange to me. I wanted every sentence to be perfect. I recorded myself many times and sometimes wanted to delete everything. But one day I told myself, this video isn't perfect, but it's good enough. I posted it. And guess what? Nothing terrible happened. Some people even liked it. There's a sentence I really love. A messy start is better than a perfect one day, because one day sometimes means never. So, if you're waiting for the perfect moment, maybe this is your sign. Start now in an imperfect way. Don't think about changing everything. Just ask yourself, what is one simple action I can do today? Maybe you can send a short voice message in English. Maybe you can read one paragraph. Maybe you can write one email. Maybe you can speak to yourself in English for 5 minutes. These imperfect actions slowly build something important: momentum. Momentum is the moving energy that makes it easier to keep going. Think about a bicycle. When the bike is standing still, the first push can feel difficult. But once the bike is moving, you don't need as much force to keep it going. Your habits work in a similar way. So, here's a small challenge for you. Think of one thing you've been postponing and give it 5 minutes today. Just 5 minutes. It sounds very small, but it can open a little door in your day. And there's one more important piece we need to talk about if you want real change: your environment. Environment means everything around you. It includes the people you spend time with, the places you spend time in, the sounds you hear. and the content you watch and listen to. There's a famous idea that you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Whether or not you take that idea literally, the people around you can definitely influence the way you think and act. If the people around you always complain and always say, "It's impossible," it can be difficult to stay hopeful and focused. But if the people around you are learning, trying, and doing small things for their future, you may start to think, maybe I can do that too. And it's not only about people. It's also about what you watch and listen to. Think about your information diet. We know food can be healthy or unhealthy. Information can be similar. Motivating podcasts, helpful videos, useful books, and positive communities can be like healthy food for your brain. And some things can feel like junk food for your mind. Endless negative news, online drama, and comment fights can drain your energy. Drain your energy means they take your energy away and leave you feeling tired or empty. When I was learning English, I sometimes felt alone until I joined a small study group online. Suddenly, I had people who said, "I'm struggling too, but let's keep going." That group didn't magically make English easy, but it made quitting more difficult. So ask yourself this question: who are the 5 people I spend the most time with right now? And what is my information diet? If the answer feels heavy or negative, you don't need to change everything in one day. You can simply add one positive person, one helpful podcast, or one good community to your world. Little by little, with better people and better information around you, taking action can start to feel more natural. You don't have to fight so hard with yourself. Now, we've used many important words and ideas today, so let's slow down and do our little word tour. First, let's start with our main feeling, being stuck. Stuck means you can't move forward. You want to change, but something is holding you back. For example, I feel stuck in my routine. Every day feels the same. Or, I feel stuck with my English. I don't know how to get to the next level. Then, we have fear of failure. Failure means something doesn't work or you don't succeed. Fear of failure means being scared to try because you might not succeed. You can say, "My fear of failure stopped me from starting my own business." Or, "Because of fear of failure, I don't speak English in front of other people." Next, we have direction. Direction is the way you're going, like having a map or a plan. You can say, "I want to improve my life, but I don't have a clear direction." Or, "Joining an English class gave me direction in my studies." Another important phrase is negative self-talk. This means the things you say to yourself in your mind, especially when those things are negative or unkind. For example, negative self-talk like, "I'm stupid makes me feel small," or "I'm trying to change my negative self-talk into kinder words." Now, a very powerful word, habit. A habit is something you do again and again, often without thinking about it. Drinking water in the morning can be a healthy habit. Listening to an English podcast every day can become a useful habit, and those habits can slowly change your identity. Identity is how you see yourself, the kind of person you believe you are. For example, after 1 year of reading, my identity changed. I started to see myself as a reader. Or you might change the way you see yourself from, "I'm bad at English," to, "I'm an English learner." Next, we have mindset. Mindset is your general way of thinking about your abilities and your future. With a positive mindset, problems can feel smaller and more manageable. You can say, "Changing my mindset helped me enjoy English more." Then we have growth mindset and fixed mindset. A growth mindset means you believe you can learn and improve. A fixed mindset means you believe your abilities cannot really change. For example, he has a growth mindset. He thinks mistakes are part of learning. Or, with a fixed mindset, she thinks she will always be bad at languages. Another useful word is affirmation. An affirmation is a positive sentence you tell yourself on purpose. For example, I use the affirmation, "I am getting better every day." Or, her morning affirmation helps her feel more confident. Then we have visualization. Visualization means closing your eyes and imagining yourself doing something well. For example, before the exam, he used visualization. He imagined himself feeling calm. Or, I use visualization to imagine myself speaking English confidently. Next, gratitude. Gratitude is the feeling of being thankful for the good things in your life. You can say, writing 3 good things every night helps me practice gratitude. Or, gratitude makes my problems feel a little smaller. And this next word feels like movement, momentum. Momentum is the energy of movement that makes it easier to keep going once you start. For example, after 1 week of daily study, I had momentum, so it was easier to continue. Or, small wins gave her momentum to make bigger changes. Finally, we have environment. Environment means everything around you, including people, places, and information. You can say, a calm environment helps me focus on my work. Or, changing my environment, my friends, and what I watch helped me grow. If you didn't catch every word, that's completely okay. You can listen to this part again slowly. And if you want a small challenge, choose one of these words and make your own sentence. You can say it quietly in your head, or you can be brave and write it in the comments so you can practice. Think of it as sending your English to the gym. It's a short, friendly workout for your English brain. And remember, you don't need a perfect plan to change your life. You don't need to transform everything overnight. You just need one small step, repeated again and again. One small habit. One better thought. One short English practice session. One positive choice. Little changes may look small today, but over time, they can create a completely different life. So, if you're feeling stuck right now, don't ask yourself, how can I change my whole life? Ask yourself a smaller question. What is one thing I can do for 5 minutes today? Maybe that 5-minute action is the beginning of something much bigger. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. I really hope today's lesson helped you learn some useful English and also gave you a little motivation to make a small positive change in your life. If this episode helped you, please like the video, subscribe to Daily English Grow, and share it with someone who also wants to grow and learn English. And don't forget to write your sentence in the comments. One small thing I want to change in my life is, I would love to read your answers and see what you're working on. Take care of yourself, keep practicing, keep moving forward, and remember that you don't need to become a completely different person tomorrow. Just become a little better today. I'll see you in the next episode of Daily English Grow. Bye for now.